Bro, with the way Apple been acting, bro, honestly, I don't know why I still buy the Apple products. Honestly. Like, having a Mac, the only reason we didn't get to put out the podcast yesterday was because Apple decided to release an update to the MacBook, the Mac OS Catalina, and it messed with my OBS. That's the only reason. We were up, we were ready to do it. We had our topics ready, we had the notes ready, and this the technical difficulties, it messed us all up. I honestly don't know why I still buy their products. They don't change anything except for, especially with the phones, they don't change anything except for the screen size in the picture resolution. That's all they change. And yet we
Fact.
still buy it, and I'm still gonna buy another iPhone. I don't know
Uh-huh.
why. I'm just a sucker for Apple products. I like how the iOS works, I guess, but they tested my patience, man. All right, they tested my patience. I don't know about you, but they
Nah,
tested me.
yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, for sure. All right, welcome to the Keep It Real podcast. This is your host, John West, aka Dead Op, talking with your other co-host, Hasan. Say hello to the people.
What's good?
So now that we finally get to talk about some sports, let's talk about some sports. We won't really be talking about anything that happened on Monday since this is being recorded on a Tuesday. It'll be out on a Tuesday. There wasn't really much that happened yesterday other than Monday Night Football, but I mean, it was the Miami Dolphins. I mean, what do you want me to say about the Dolphins or the Steelers? The Steelers have injuries, and the Dolphins, they're trash. We all know that. So we're not
Right.
talking about that. And I mean, the Rockets played the Thunder, but we'll talk a little bit about the Thunder later in regards to the Warriors. But nah, I don't like. I'm a struggling Thunder fan, and I want to keep it that way. I want to keep it to where we're losing. All right, there's not much to talk about when we're losing. We are tanking, but so we're gonna go ahead and talk about all the topics we were gonna talk about on Monday, because I still think they're relevant, and I still think we could get our opinion out on them. I still think they're interesting to talk about. All right, so are you ready, bro?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. So Green Bay played. They played the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. It was an exciting game, actually. Surprising. I thought it wouldn't be that close, but the Chiefs played them pretty close. I think it ended up being like a 7 point game. And so the question has to be asked with the way that the Chiefs are made and how Green Bay was able to beat them. How good are the Green Bay Packers, and are they this good, basically? Because they only have one loss on the season. So we have to ask the question, are they this good? What's your thoughts on that?
You said, are they this good?
Yes, are they this good to the point where, like, because their record, they only have one loss on the season. It was to
Mhm.
the Eagles, and they were an interception away from being undefeated right now. So, are they this good?
I believe so. I do believe that they're this good. Aaron Rodgers, past 2 weeks, has been playing like the old Aaron Rodgers that we know of.
What you mean?
Last
He never
game,
left.
I know
Aaron
he
Rodgers
he
been
he,
here.
he never left, but like he's been playing on MVP caliber times two, like these past couple weeks. He went crazy last week, and their run game has been there. Aaron Jones has been showing up. He's been relying on him a lot. He's been catching a lot of passes for a lot of yards out of the backfield, stuff like that.
For
But
sure.
yeah, I think they're this good. Their defense. He finally has a good defense. Well, a decent defense.
Eh, eh.
Decent. Usually his defense is probably one of the worst in the league. I mean, they're giving him something rather than giving up like 30 points a game, how it was these past few years. But yeah, I believe that they're this good as long as their defense can improve. Um, Aaron Rodgers just keep on doing him. Aaron Jones keep doing him, and they should be good.
Well, the reason I say is because, like, you look at their past few weeks. I mean, they played the Cowboys and they played phenomenal on defense at first. But then what happened in the fourth quarter? They started giving up a bunch of points and it ended up being only like a 10-point game at the end of the fourth quarter. And then
Hmm.
you look at the way that the Raiders, like when they played the Raiders were moving the ball up and down the field up until a certain point where Aaron Rodgers took over, and it's almost like they took their soul out of them, and like they didn't, they didn't have a response, they didn't have a counterpunch. So I mean, but before that, they were giving up yards like crazy. And then this game, you're facing Matt Moore. And Matt Moore isn't the worst quarterback ever, but he's a backup for a reason. And yet the Chiefs scored 24 points, which is pretty good. And that's close to 30. Let's not act like that's not close to 30. That's pretty bad. I
That is
mean,
a touchdown. It's a touchdown.
yeah, but it came down to a final stop, which you do have to give the Green Bay defense credit that they are able to get stops when it comes down to key moments. But I mean, Matt Moore went 24 of 36 for 267 yards, two touchdowns. His QBR was above average. It was only 57.7, but still, like that's pretty good for a backup, and that's not a good sign because when you face some of these elite defenses out here, what are they supposed to do? I mean, if you play like that, you're going to get beat. Honestly, you're going to get beat. So that I still have some questions about this Packers team because I trust Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers to me is still a top 5 quarterback. He's always been a top 5 quarterback. People just decide to sleep on him and hate on him for
Mhm.
no reason, in my opinion. But still, I'm not sold on their defense. Not like I was at the beginning of the season. Beginning of the season, I thought that they were going to be a great defense with the way that they played, but looking back at it, they have slightly decreased in their output the past few weeks as they've played better offenses with better quarterbacks.
Yeah. Quick point of order. You said how Matt Moore had a good game. Yeah, he had a good game for a backup. I feel like we need to give more credit to Andy Reid, right? People just get so caught up in having Patrick Mahomes doing all these flashy plays,
Well,
throwing the ball,
we can talk
and
about that later, bro, because I feel like that's a separate topic in of itself.
all right.
But so I just wanted to stay on topic for this. We'll talk about it right after. We'll get on to talking about Andy Reid and how good Patrick Mahomes is. But with regard to the Green Bay Packers, I'm not sure. I'm not sold yet, and it's not just because of this one game. We've had multiple sample sizes now where they've completely started to collapse as the game goes on. I mean, like I said, against the Raiders, the Cowboys. Also, I think against the Broncos, they gave up over 150 rushing yards. And so you question it. And also against the Eagles have struggled at times this year. And yet the Eagles were able to run the ball on that defense. I'm not as worried about their secondary as I am their their run defense, I guess, because I think they can get a pass rush, so they can help out the secondary. They have complementary parts, and they also have one of my favorite safeties in the league in Amos.
Hey,
So,
Moles.
yes, bro, one of the fastest safeties in the league. So, like, they have some pieces to help out the secondary, but against the run, they're a bit shaky. They're a bit shaky to say the least. And so, but I definitely like. I think Green Bay is good, and they're a really good football team. But I just don't know if they're one loss good. I mean, Detroit almost beat them and probably should have beat them because of the BS penalties that the refs called, which is a completely different subject because the refs are just they're taking over too many games just to put it out there. But other than that, I would say I have some questions about their defense, but again, like Aaron Rodgers is so great with in the way he's able to develop or he has developed with Matt LaFleur's offense, I think is remarkable. because
For sure.
when you get this, far into your career, you sometimes don't want to change your way of play, and he definitely has. He's definitely taken a back seat in some games, and or in certain moments in some games to Aaron Jones. I mean, Aaron Jones went bananas this game. I mean, 13 carries, 67 yards is not amazing for a running back, but I mean, 7 receptions, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns for a running back. That's amazing. The way Matt
Yeah.
LaFleur is able to utilize his running backs, and I think the other running back, Williams, I forget his name. I apologize for
Jamal
that.
Williams.
Yeah, Jamal Williams. They're using him too in the passing game. So I just think that's super remarkable. And whenever you're able to use a couple of backs out of the backfield as passing weapons, that definitely helps out your offense and definitely helps out your quarterback and his performance. And I think, we don't take into account that they don't have Devontae Adams still.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is one of the best receivers in the league. I mean, nobody really talks about him, but he just constantly produces. He's one of the best route runners in the league. So I think once they get him back, their offense will step it up another notch. And so that really is like I think something we got to keep an eye on throughout the season is that even if their defense doesn't stay at that elite level, will they be able to still win in spite of that with how good their offense is? I think they can, but at this point, I'm just, I got some questions about the defense because we've seen this story before where Aaron Rodgers might not have the best defense. They're a better defense, but we've seen the same story before where he gets knocked out early because the other team has a more complete team as far as offense defense and he just can't rise above that. So we'll definitely have to
Yeah.
look at that.
We'll
But
just have to see.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But if you like this video, hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button and also click the notification bell so that you never miss an upload or stream. All right, so we did kind of mention it in the previous topic, but with the way that Matt Moore played against the Green Bay Packers, the question has to be asked with Pat Mahomes being injured. Uh, does this game prove or does it say that Pat Mahomes is made by Andy Reid's system or does Pat Mahomes make that much of a difference? So, what are your thoughts on that?
All right, so I wouldn't go as far as just saying either one of them is made by each other. I want to say Pat Mahomes is made by the system, and the system's not made by Pat Mahomes. Um, as you know, Andy Reid's been doing it for a while. We got Donovan McNabb thinking he's a Hall of Famer. Sheesh.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's a fact. Donovan McNabb would not be a Hall of Famer. I'm just putting that out there.
yeah, let's
Syracuse,
just get that out there.
it was crazy because Syracuse fans used to come up to me saying, "Oh, Donovan McNabb, he's gonna be a Hall of Famer." Not because of him, not because of his play, but you go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, but then again, um, Patrick Mahomes, it takes a lot of talent, and his arm strength is incredible. I do believe he gambles a little bit too much,
Yeah, with all
but
those flashy passes.
yeah, but then again, he has the weapons. So and Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, all those dudes, that fast dude that they got. I'm sorry, I forgot his name.
Cole Hardman.
Yeah, yeah, him.
Yeah, out
He's
of
super
Georgia.
fast. Yep. But yeah, Matt Moore had a good game. So I guess that goes to show you that the system is great. The system works. As we've been seeing for what as long as Andy Reid's been calling plays. But then again, it also takes Patrick Mahomes' talent to take that system to a whole different level. You could do a whole bunch of different things when you got him. But then again, if I feel as if you didn't have him, I guess you could still have a decent QB of an above average QB, and you'll still do well. See, they scored 24 points, and he went head to head with Aaron Rodgers. Which, if you're doing that,
Yeah,
that says something. That's still
that's pretty
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest QBs to ever play. Yeah, I mean, it's not really much to say. The QBR, I don't really put too much stock in the QBR. Like I said last podcast, it takes into account all different things. Bull, it's bull jive. But
I
yeah, I
mean,
guess
it takes into
it's off
account.
and off.
I just want to say QBR. I do think it's relevant because it does take into account the quarterback's running ability, and that's why I like QBR personally, especially at the college level, because it's hard to quantify. You know, when you're just looking at passing stats, that's not the only way a quarterback can influence the game and impact the game. I think that
Hmm.
quarterbacks that do use their legs need to have, be given credit for that. And I think that QBR is a stat that can do that. But sometimes it is misleading when you just look at it by itself. When you look at it in conjunction with everything else, then I feel like it's a useful stat. But when you look at it isolated, I don't think it, I definitely think
Yeah,
it's definitely misleading to say the least.
it takes into account sacks also, right?
Uh, I'm not sure. Somebody have
What is
to
that QB
correct me.
rating?
I'm
I don't
not.
know.
I
It's
really
one of
don't
them.
know. But somebody will have to correct me on this. But I don't think it takes into account QBR. Or I mean, QBR doesn't take into account sacks. Because I also think it doesn't take into account like interceptions that were you know costed by the wide receiver. But I could be wrong
Yeah,
about all of that. I'm not sure. I just know that the running game is displayed through QBR. So, but you finished?
yeah. I'll finish. I'll finish.
All right. I'll say this that Pat Mahomes like I'll say that I've definitely like gotten on, or not gotten on him because I'll never hate. Like I said last podcast, I'll never hate on somebody for having a great system with great weapons around them. But when you do compare quarterbacks, you do have to take into account that that is the case. And again, Andy Reid has been doing this for years. I mean, not just with Donovan McNabb, but he also did it with Michael Vick. He helped resurrect his career, even though Michael Vick definitely was one of he was a great QB. I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying he got him right when he came out of jail, and so he
Yeah.
helped resurrect his career and make him sort of more of a pocket passing QB. Because I mean, when he was with the Eagles, nobody really like thought of him as the Atlanta Mike Vick, which was make plays with your legs and make all these crazy, jukes and spin moves and all that. He was more thought about that rocket arm, and launching it to Deshaun Jackson, and doing all the little things in the passing game. So, and he also helped out. I mean, people don't think about it, but he helped out with Alex Smith too. Alex Smith isn't horrible,
Oh
but
yeah.
that he is check down Alex. All right, he does check the ball down a lot, and he was able to turn him into a pretty decent quarterback. They weren't able to win any big playoff games with him, but the fact that they even got that far and got the records that they did, that's phenomenal. But I definitely think that Patrick Mahomes is not made by the system because even when you look at this game isolated, it was 31-24. Matt Moore had a chance at the end, and Andy Reid had the chance at the end to go make a play and to go tie that game up again and maybe get the game to overtime, but he didn't do it. And that's because Matt Moore is limited in his ability. So I don't think that, you know, if your quarterback has limitations, I don't think you can run that style of offense and it work all the time because you do have to have the intangibles as a quarterback. And so when people look at Pat Mahomes and try and say, oh, Andy Reid is making him, that's just not true. That's underrating him. And I didn't even think underrating Pat Mahomes was even possible. I mean, but when you look at it that way, or maybe it's not underrated, it's hate, it's just over hating on him when you say
Hmm.
something like that because he does have those intangibles and he can make those plays late in games that could put you over the top. And that was the difference in this game is Green Bay had Aaron Rodgers, Chiefs had Matt Moore. When Aaron Rodgers needed to make a play, he made the plays. When Matt Moore needed to make the plays, he couldn't because he's limited. He is a backup quarterback for a reason. And so I definitely think that Pat Mahomes is phenomenal. And I think he is top two in the quarterback conversation, especially when it comes to young quarterbacks. Maybe top three total. It depends on what you look at and what your order is, but he's definitely in that upper echelon, no question. And I don't think people should lose sight of that in his, with him being absent, because with the way our brains work these days, all the studies show, we're very short-sighted in our ability to think, and that we only look at the immediate, like what are you giving me now? And right now,
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes is hurt, so he can't give you anything. And so he kind of goes to the back of your mind. And then you start to think, like, when you see these games by Matt Moore, you start to think, oh, is he really that phenomenal? Yeah, he is. He definitely is. We should not forget about that just because he's hurt and he's not playing right now. Just because you're not getting film on him does not mean that you could just put him and lower him down, lower your expectations of him and your thoughts of him. So I definitely think that Andy Reid is a phenomenal coach, but he needs Pat Mahomes to take that offense to another level, because when he's in there, it's historic what they can do with those weapons, with his arm talent. So I definitely think that Andy Reid's system doesn't make Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes is legit. And this is coming from somebody who was saying that, like, I knew about Pat Mahomes before, but I thought that I thought he wasn't going to be that good, honestly. I thought he was going to be a project quarterback and he was going to take like 5 years to develop, because I remember having a conversation with somebody on Instagram, a Chiefs fan, saying, oh, Pat Mahomes, he's the real deal. He's going to be better than Deshaun Watson. I was like, hold on a second. This man, and this was coming off their rookie year where Pat Mahomes didn't even really play but one game. So I was like, hold on, pump the brakes. Deshaun Watson's by far the better quarterback. And then when Pat Mahomes came out, you see he had an immediate impact. And so that can't be underrated. You can't hate on that, for sure. You can't. I mean, when you're able to come out and immediately, as you step on the field like that, you make a impact, that's crazy. And that's why both those quarterbacks are definitely in the upper echelon of quarterbacks right now, is because they're young and they still are getting it. I mean, you look at, again, Mitch Trubisky struggling because he's just not that dude. And he wasn't, and I don't even think he was really prepared. I mean, he came in his rookie year and he had to play. But he wasn't able to make that difference because he's not that game changer that Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson is. So, I definitely think that, again, Andy Reid is not making Pat Mahomes. But, yeah, for sure. But if you like this video, definitely click the like button. Also, if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell below so you never miss, dadgummit, you never miss an upload or stream. I'm going to leave that in there just so y'all can laugh at me, because I'm not afraid of my mistakes, all right? All right, we're going to move on. All right, so we have to talk about what's happened to Baker Mayfield, man. We talked about it a little bit last podcast, just for a second. But Baker Mayfield, my God, what has happened? I mean, the Browns, they lose 27-13 against the Patriots, and Baker Mayfield struggles again. I mean, and you can look at the raw stats: 20 of 31, 194 yards. That's not too bad, but only one touchdown, one pick, a 15.9 QBR, sacked 5 times. I mean, that's not necessarily his fault, but I mean, dadgum, he's thrown 12 interceptions to 6 touchdowns this year. I mean, that's horrible. That's terrible. So, and the Browns are 2-5. So, I definitely want to talk about what has happened to Baker Mayfield and why are the Browns dookie. They're dookie. I think they're the most disappointing team of this year. I thought they were going to win the division and compete for a Super Bowl, honestly, because the talent was there for me. That's what I saw. I saw Odell, I saw Jarvis, I saw them play with complement each other in college. So I thought with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield, who had a phenomenal rookie year and who has had, had great years in college, so there was nothing in the past that told me that he would not succeed. So I just thought that he would definitely be able to lead them to contending for a Super Bowl or at least contending in the playoffs. But they're not even close to that right now. So what do you think is going on?
Honestly, it's kind of hard because I hopped on the Baker Mayfield bandwagon before the season. I was saying it's better than the Deshaun Watson stuff.
Yeah,
Like
you made that
after
mistake. That's the
yeah,
last time you're gonna make that mistake too.
yeah. I don't know what I was on, but Baker Mayfield has been full. Honestly, he's looking like he probably should be benched, but you can't do that because he's
No,
Baker Mayfield.
I
But
wouldn't say that.
no,
Who do the Browns have other than that? Honestly, like
honestly, you might be better off putting Odell at QB at this
okay,
point.
okay.
At this point, he's it's like okay. But
That's too much, bro. We've seen him throw a couple of passes, but we've never
and they
seen
all
him
been
drop that.
touchdowns though.
No, he I think he only threw for like he made a 20-yard completion this year, but I mean, no, you can't do that. No, he hasn't dropped back.
I don't know.
He doesn't understand protection schemes and all that. And not like a quarterback who's been doing it his whole entire life. You can't do that.
All right, so all right, let me get a little. Um, I do want to put some blame on his old on. He got sacked 5 times last night. In the beginning of the season, it was just him, and then the sacks just started getting higher and higher. Also put the sacks on him too because he's holding the ball a lot, like he's trying to force big plays.
I think it definitely goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. He's trying to force big plays when he can just take his check downs and stuff like that. Let me read you his stats from these last few games, or his touchdowns and picks. First game, 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. One and one, 1 and 1. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 1 touchdown, 3 interceptions. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Now that's below average. Like I did. Only reason he has all these only reason he has 6 touchdowns is because he's playing in all these games and he's playing the whole game. This is atrocious. Like I honestly I don't know really what they say. It's just he's just bad. Maybe it's him not focused. Maybe he got something going on at home. I don't. It's really like no explanation. Play calling hasn't been awful. Nick Chubb's been doing his thing. He fumbled twice last night. Nick Chubb fumbled twice last night. But besides that, play calling isn't awful. It could be better. It could improve drastically. But a lot of this goes on him. A lot of their failure goes on him. I honestly don't know what to say. He's just been terrible. I really don't have no explanation or nothing to say. He's just been god awful.
I'm gonna have to push back on that because I talked about it last podcast. Freddie Kitchens he's not right for the head coaching job. He's also the offensive coordinator. He does both, and he doesn't do either well, because the play calling to me is horrible. I'm sorry, it's terrible.
Horrible.
I mean, at some games, yeah, they definitely in some moments in games it looks good. But at other times, it's like head scratching. It's like, what are you doing? And it's even worse as the head coach. You realize that during the Patriots game, it was 4th and 11. For one, you should not be punting. It was too late in the game to be punting the ball if you wanted to win. And it was a 14-point game. So let's just keep that in mind.
I saw that.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. He goes out and puts his punt unit out in 4th and 11. He realizes he makes a mistake. They get a false start, back it up 5 yards, and then they go for it. And they don't get it. Obviously, because 4th and 16 is going to be harder than 4th and 11. I mean, that's just simple common sense. That's using your brain. I don't know what Freddie Kitchens is doing, but he's not right for the job. He should not have a head coaching job. They definitely pulled the trigger too fast on him. And also, another indicator of why he shouldn't be the coach, they are the highest penalized team. That comes down to the head coach because you have to be able to teach these guys discipline. I don't care if they're pros. You definitely have to give some credit or some blame, I should say, to the players who are, enacting the penalties because they are in the NFL. You shouldn't be doing this by now. But at the same time, as a coach, you have to handle that. The penalties are on you. The team discipline is on you. And I think, I think the offseason for as a whole for the Browns was just they put themselves behind the eight ball because they talked all that trash. They talked about how we're feeling dangerous, man. We feeling dangerous. Well, you feeling dangerous now? I need to ask that question. Freddie Kitchens, you were smiling all during the offseason. I mean, during the preseason, you tried to blitz one of these teams and try to come out, run a hurry-up offense the first preseason game to try and show off your play calling ability. How's that working out for you right now? I feel like they put a target on their backs by their brashness and their arrogance, and now teams are coming out and they're saying, we're going to destroy you. The Titans, it showed in the Titans game, the first game. Remember what Delaney Walker said? They are who we thought they were. Right? That's what he said. He's talking trash about them. So you definitely put a target on your back by being so brash. And part of that is on Baker Mayfield because that's his personality. But at the same time, there are some other issues going on than just that. Because, I mean, he's always been brash, but he's never had these type of problems. And at first in the season, I thought it might have been, he's forcing it to Odell. He's feeling that pressure of, I got to move the ball and get it to all these people to make them happy. But I don't think it is that anymore. I really don't. I think,
I don't think so either.
Because Odell, they're not even targeting him as much anymore. And it's still happening. The problems are still reoccurring. So you can't blame it exclusively on Odell. I definitely think there's blame all over. Like, I know people like to have the hot takes and blame it on, it's his fault. It's one person's fault. Even though I think Freddie Kitchens is most to blame, there's blame around to go. Because, this is a team-wide problem. When you have 13 penalties against the Patriots, that is a problem with the entire team and your focus and your mentality. And this team just doesn't have the focus and the mentality yet. And that's why they are not, I don't even think they will make the playoffs, honestly. They put themselves in too deep of a hole. They play some terrible teams throughout. So they're going to start winning and they're going to start talking more trash. But I don't think that it's going to amount to anything, really. I don't think they will because they have to count on the Ravens because the Ravens, I think, will get a wild card. They'll probably win the division. So the Ravens will get that spot. And then the Steelers, I definitely think, are still in contention, even with a backup quarterback, to go for one of those wild card spots.
The Ravens got some tough games, though. They got at least 4 tough games. They're going to lose to the Patriots. They got some tough games.
Answer me this. Who do you trust more at this point in their career? Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield?
That Florida boy.
Exactly. Lamar Jackson. You're going to trust him. To me, I'm trusting him almost every time. Because I know he can at least go out there, even when he's struggling throwing the ball, he can still go out there and make plays because he is an athlete. He makes plays. Baker Mayfield, if he's not throwing the ball, what is he going to do? He's only runs about a 4.8, 4.9 in the 40. He's not going nowhere. He's not running the ball. Nope. Lamar Jackson could change the game with his arm and his legs. And I think that makes him dangerous. You want to talk about, we're feeling dangerous. Lamar Jackson, he's dangerous. That's dangerous. So, we'll see how they improve, but And just to recap that game also with what we said about the Patriots. Patriots defense, still good.
Oh,
I mean,
still
the Browns are
valid.
terrible, but still, 3 turnovers. When you force 3 turnovers, that's game changing. And again,
Yeah, that's no matter who you play.
like we said, Tom Brady, he's not going to be the reason they go 16-0 if they do. It's going to be that defense. But I digress because, you know, some of these Tom Brady fans be out of control. They're, oh, look at his 6 rings. Look at his 6 rings. Man,
I mean, he didn't play bad. He didn't play bad.
he didn't. I'm not saying he played bad, but can we evaluate him on the season at hand? Can we evaluate him on that? Because I'm tired of hearing this 6 ring conversation. I'm evaluating him on this year. All right, that's what we doing. All right.
Low key, his stats do look good though. I'm not gonna lie to
They
you.
look decent, but they're classic. They're not classic Tom Brady because Tom Brady back in his career would throw the ball downfield. But this is old man Tom Brady stats where he just chucks it down to, you know, dinks and dunks to Edelman and James White and Burkhead, and, you know, and he's getting the ball out of his hands because and to be fair, you can't really throw the ball down the field when, you know, you're that old. Because the more you hold on to that ball, the more likely you are to get hit. And when you get hit when you're older, it starts feeling different. You start hurting a little bit different. So,
No, that's good.
so if you like this video, hit the like button down below. And also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also click the notification bell so that you never miss a video or a stream. Okay. We're going to talk about something. I'm going first on this. I definitely got to go first on this. I'm disgusted. All right. Over the weekend, I am disgusted with how the Panthers played. For people who don't know, I am a Panthers fan. All right. I come from the Carolinas. All right. So I got to... Don't you say sadly. All right. We got Zion and we got RJ. Or not RJ. I'm tripping. We got Ja. All right. We're representing out here. All right, don't disrespect us in here. All right, we won't take any slander, but I come from the Carolinas, so I am a Panthers fan, and I'm disgusted with how we played. I mean, it's bad. I mean, we lost to the 49ers. What was it, 51-13? 51-13. I mean, what the heck was that? I mean, I don't have it. Again, I told people on Sunday before we got a chance to do the podcast, I told people I don't have a problem losing to the 49ers. I don't have a problem with none of that. All right. But when you lose, because, I mean, the 49ers are an elite team, all right? They're undefeated for a reason. They got one of the best defenses in the NFL, which we would be talking more about their defense if it weren't for the Patriots' defense doing so well. I just want to put that out there. That's why they're getting underrated, is because we got the Patriots doing historic things. And so I don't have a problem losing to the 49ers because they have an elite defense, they have an elite running game, they have an elite head coach, and they have an above-average quarterback. So I definitely don't have a problem with losing. But you lose by 51-13? You lose by, what is that, 38 points? Yeah, that's 38 points.
Yeah,
I had to check my math. All right, so, but that's horrible. That is horrible. And so one of the topics I want to talk about with this is I think that Cam Newton is becoming one of the most overhated players in the NFL. And the reason I say that is because I feel like there's like a silent coup going on in the Panthers organization against Cam Newton. They're trying to get him up out of there, which is just blasphemous. I mean, for the things that he's done for this franchise. And even the things he's done lately, I know he hasn't played great. I mean, he hasn't had a win in his last 8 starts, all right? That's not good. But the fact that people were trying to say that Kyle Allen needs to be starting over him even when both of them are healthy is just wrong to me. That's asinine. That is so blasphemous. I'm sorry I'm stuttering, but I'm angry, all right? Because, listen, the reason I say this, and I'm not trying to start nothing, obviously, and try to start this, a lie or anything, trying to start, creating a scenario where the teammates are it. I'm gonna pose it like this. I'm starting because I'm just trying to phrase this in the right way, but I think that his teammates are giving up on Cam because when you look at the bye week, when we had our bye week, Greg Olson started to go on different shows, all right? And he went on First Take, and he went on First Things First, and he went on all these TV shows. And he talked to him. And they started asking him questions about, oh, if both of them are healthy, who you rocking with? You rocking with Kyle Allen, you rocking with Cam Newton. And what I expected him to say with him playing with Cam for so long, I thought he would say, Cam's our guy. He's still our franchise quarterback. He's still, he still can play, and that we're going to rock with him until he, is off the team and he's not our teammate anymore. And that's who we're rocking with when he gets healthy. Now, if he's not healthy, then Kyle Allen needs to be playing. But that's not what he said. What he said was, "Oh, Kyle Allen is our guy. We think that Kyle Allen should have the chance to continue to play," which I think is just surprising. I mean, don't you?
Yes, what? He actually said that?
Yeah, he did. I'm 99% sure that he said that. I'm pretty sure I remember him saying that on air, that he said Kyle Allen deserves to keep on playing. Well, you see where this gets you. Let's read Kyle Allen's stats against the 49ers. 19 of 37. That's terrible. 158 yards. That's not good. 0 touchdowns. That's terrible. 3 interceptions. That's terrible. And 4.7 QBR. A 4.7 QBR? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I'm sorry for yelling, but that's ridiculously bad. This is on a scale of 100, and you get a 4. A 4. And you want to talk about, oh, he deserves to be playing. And before people say, well, Cam Newton, he's just not good enough anymore. Really? Really? Because I'll read his stats last year. And this was, including the games that he played last year with a hurt shoulder. Because he did play with a hurt shoulder. And I think that started to cause some of his interceptions and made us start losing games. But let's read his stats. 67.9% completion percentage. That was a career high. 3,395 yards with 7.2 yards per attempt. 24 touchdowns, 13 picks, 53.2 QBR. And that was including the games with a hurt shoulder. So, and those were career stats before that. Before he started throwing the picks, he was having a career year, and I think we only had like 1 loss on the year last year.
Y'all were like 6-2.
Yeah, or something like that. Yeah, and we were competing, and he just busted his shoulder, and the season's over. He comes back. He comes back too early this year, and that's why it's so I don't want to hear the stats from the first 2 games this year. I don't want to hear it. Because he was still hurt, all right? He could barely throw the ball 5 yards downfield, all right? And so I never had a problem with them sitting him at first, but he's starting to get healthy now. And if he's healthy, he needs to be the starting quarterback. Either that or you need to give Will Grier, the rookie, a chance. Because Kyle Allen is not your quarterback for the future. Even when we were winning, I was saying Kyle Allen is not that good. All he's doing is dumping it down to Christian McCaffrey and letting him go to work, which is an effective weapon until the defense is elite and they start to focus on Christian McCaffrey. When they start to game plan for him, you're going to have a switch up. There's no switch up because Kyle Allen can't throw the ball downfield like that. He's just not that quarterback. And so either I was saying if Cam Newton's healthy, Cam Newton needs to be playing because he could still have success in this league. He still can. I'm not convinced that he's the worst quarterback of all time now. I'm just not. He's still better than half the quarterbacks in this league. And if it's not him, if he's still not healthy, give Will Grier an opportunity. I get that he might not be ready. But Kyle Allen, he can do better than Kyle Allen. I watched him all throughout college at West Virginia. He was a baller. He was getting it. So, and that was a great pickup to pick him up in the 3rd round. For the value, I definitely think that he could be a quarterback of our future. So if we're not starting Cam Newton and we know we can't win the big games with Kyle Allen, why not just go ahead and put Will Grier out there and see what he can do? I mean, that's showing that Kyle Allen put on. It didn't convince. He didn't have me convinced in the wins, but what he showed on the field, there was no promise against a defense like that. I mean, you just look at the drive charts. I mean, you look at what the Panthers offense did. We go punt, field goal, interception, punt, half, punt, touchdown. And that's because Christian McCaffrey is a beast and took it for 40 yards for a touchdown. That's why. All right. But then right after that, punt, interception, punt, downs. Are you kidding me? We can't do better than that. I mean, I know that the 49ers got some beasts on defense, so I'm not expecting anything crazy, but we can do better than that. I think Will Grier can do better than that. He can rise. I saw him plenty of times at West Virginia rise to the occasion and play well. So, man, I just had to rant about the Panthers. You could put in your input, but I had to go off. I'm sorry. As a Panthers fan, I'm struggling out here.
That's all good. I agree with you. I don't got anything to say. I just let you go on with it. It's all facts, bro.
I mean, and I'm tired of people like Colin Cowherd saying that Cam Newton has always had all these weapons, and that he's the one that's making them struggle. Christian McCaffrey is a weapon, I'll give you that. But he would say, oh, he has a good offensive line. No, he does not. No, he does not. Do we not remember the left tackle? I forget his name. It escapes me right now. But I think it was somebody who was moved to left tackle to play against the Bucks in the second game of the year. Do we not remember how he was getting beat by Shaq Barrett? All right. Do we just not remember that? I'm trying to ask some people. I mean, he was getting beat every time. So I think Cam Newton can make plays, bro. I think he can still make it plays. And also, wide receivers, I'm tired of people acting like he's got elite wide receivers. DJ Moore has shown me nothing up to this point that has shown him as an elite wide receiver. Not saying that he can't be, but I'm just saying he hasn't shown it yet. All right? And I would love for him to show it, but I just don't think it's there. I was convinced that we needed to draft Calvin Ridley when we had the opportunity. You see what he's doing in Atlanta? We have seen none of that from DJ Moore. All right. Curtis Samuel is a decent weapon as far as you can move him. He's versatile. You can run him in the running game. You can use him in the screen game. You know, he can sometimes burn you downfield with his speed. But that's not like an elite. Let's not act like he's a Tyreek Hill. He's acting like he's Tyreek Hill. He's not that. He's a decent receiver, but he's not great. All right. And so he's not. And Greg Olsen is starting to get old. So he's not that decent of a tight end. So let's not act like Cam Newton has had all these weapons and he's the reason that they're struggling. They're not. It's just not like that. So I'm sorry, but the Panthers, you got to do better. And also, before we end it off, I have to say this. He also says that he has a great head coach. I've never bought into Ron Rivera. He's an okay head coach. But is he really that much of a game changer? Is he really going to make a difference in the big games, in the bye weeks? Is he really coaching this team up and making them that much better? I'm not convinced. I don't know about other Panthers fans and other fans in general of the sport, but I'm not convinced in Ron Rivera. So we definitely have to move on, because if I keep on going, the more I keep on going, the more disgusted I get, because this was garbage. It was garbage. So if you like this content, hit the like button down below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and also click the notification bell so that you never miss an upload or stream. We will be doing the podcast every single week, and also I post video games. So if you're interested in that, stay around the channel. All right, so I want to go into what happened to the Warriors. Man, the Warriors, they got a win. I think it was last night or the night before. But what happened over the weekend to me just shows why I said in the previous podcast that the Warriors are not making the playoffs. Bottom line, they're not making the playoffs. Sorry to tell you, Warriors fans, but you're not making it. They lost to the Thunder 120-92. And you look at the way they played. I mean, Steph Curry, 23 points, 7 of 18, only 2 of 9 from 3, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. That's okay, but it's not great. I mean, 2 of 9, you're better than that, Steph Curry. D'Angelo Russell, 6 points, 3 of 10, 0 of 1 from 3, 1 rebound, 2 assists. It's almost like he didn't even play. So, and then you look at Draymond Green. Man, I don't know what happened to Draymond Green since the 2016 finals, or I guess you would consider it the 2017 finals because that's when it was played. But the finals I'm talking about. The 7-game series that LeBron won. Ever since then, ever since that game 7 where he dropped 30 and he was getting buckets. I don't know what has happened to him because he has digressed every single year. He just does not look the same. 10 points, 4 of 9, 1 of 4 from 3, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And I'm kind of mad. I think that the Warriors are trying to sabotage us. I'm joking, but at the same time, this is a Thunder team that we're trying to tank, man. Like, why is your team trying to sabotage our tanking ability? Like, explain that to me, Hasan. Why y'all trying to mess us up from tanking? Y'all trying to make us terrible for the rest of the year? Or these years? Is that what y'all trying to do? Hasan. He must have gone off.
I believe so. No,
Okay.
I'm here. My fault.
Okay, I just had to make sure. He was on call for a second, so. But y'all trying to sabotage
we've
us.
always been, that's been our thing. We like to make it hard for OKC fans. You know what I'm saying?
And I am a
So
struggling
that's why we're gonna
OKC
tank.
fan.
We're gonna get the first pick, draft Mr. LaMelo Ball. Now we got Steph Curry,
Okay,
Klay
you need to
Thompson.
stop. You need to stop right now. You're not being objective, and we gotta be objective on this show as much as possible. I mean, we could be fans, and I don't think there's anything wrong with being a fan, but we gotta stay on track and stay a little bit objective. I mean,
we suck. This is how it is. We suck.
I just. Like we really are trying to tank. I think I don't know yet because I really don't know what Sam Presti's doing. I don't know why we have CP3 on the team who's still trying to prove he has a career. I don't know why we still have Steven Adams who's trying to look impressive so that if he gets traded, somebody will want to trade for him. So I don't know where we're at with our team. I think that we need to be tanking and rebuilding and trying to lose every single game as much as possible to try and get one of the top 4 picks. That's what I think we should be doing. But it doesn't look like we're doing that. I mean, we win this game, and then last night we almost beat the Rockets. For what? Where is that going to get you? 8th seed? What does the 8th seed do for us? Then we're outside the lottery, and then we don't get a good pick. So what does that do for us? Nothing. So you're going to have to explain to me what the Warriors are doing, bro.
Honestly, I don't know. I feel like what we need to do. First of all, let me just. I've never been like a true Warriors fan. I've always been a Steph Curry fan. I told you that. But to make sure I got that out there. I'm a Rockets fan now.
My gosh.
I'm playing. But I don't know what's going on. I mean, we suck. Our roster is terrible. We're top, just like LeBron said. We're top heavy as shit. I'm sorry for cussing. You have to bleep that out.
It's good, bro. Just get your feelings out, bro.
We're top heavy, and like like watching the highlights of last night's game. We played the Pelicans, and we barely won. And they had three starters that did not play, and it's just it's like it hurts because I hate to see Steph Curry go through something like this. Draymond Green's a bitch. I don't care about him, but like
All right, we can chill with all that. Chill with all that. I mean,
I
I'll let
don't.
you get it the first time, but bro, chill with all the cursing, bro. You know what I'm saying? But, whew, I mean, the Warriors are just. Now, the reason I told you before the season started that the Warriors were not going to make the playoffs is I don't think that D'Angelo Russell is a good fit for Curry. He needs the ball in his hands. He needs to be able to create, and he's not that ball distributing type of ball handler. So it's not like Curry can just move off the ball because I think he can move great off the ball, but it's not like D'Angelo Russell is able to find him like that. He'll get you 7, 8 assists, but he's not gonna get you 10. So the ball's not gonna move when it's in his hands. He's got the ball in his hands. When he has it in his hands, he's looking to score. That he is a scorer extraordinaire. He's a bucket getter. All right, and so I just don't think that fits well with Curry. And because Clay is going to be out the entire year, according to Steve Kerr, I just don't think that even if he was coming back, I don't think that they're going to win enough games to where if Klay Thompson comes back, they can make a push and make a push at the playoffs. I just don't think that'll happen. And Draymond Green, he's fallen off. I mean, and just the defense. I knew with this backcourt, they weren't going to be able to succeed because of their defense. I mean, they give up 120 to the Thunder. I think even in the win last night, didn't they give up something about 123 points?
Yep.
Yeah, so even though they won, they only won by, I think, like 11, and they had to score 130 to do it. So, I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I could be wrong, but I'm just going to put I'm going to put my reputation on the line whenever I make picks, all right? That's how I run it. All right, you can hold me against a pick whenever. I picked, I've made some bold picks. Like I picked Oregon to make the playoffs. That's still possible. But if they don't make it, y'all can come on here. I'm here. Y'all can say I'm wrong. I don't care. All right, I say what I believe and I mean it. And I just don't think that the Warriors are going to make the playoffs. And that's not out of hate. I did hate the Warriors. I'm a Thunder fan, so I hate the Warriors. But I'm being as objective as I possibly can be. I don't see with the pieces that y'all have outside of Curry it working because you have D'Angelo Russell who's not used to not having the ball in his hands, and you also have outside of them is really like a bunch of G League players. Honestly, they're not that talented of a team. So, do you think they'll make the playoffs?
I do. I do think we'll be 7, 8 seed. I believe Steph. I'm not worried about Steph. I know Steph will get it going. I believe he'll return back to MVP form. He just needs time to get his legs under him and things like that.
Oh,
I believe he can carry us to the 7 or 8 seed.
I don't know. I don't think that's enough. Like I'm not worried about Steph Curry. I'm not. I would never be worried about a star like Curry. Curry can get buckets, even though I've always kind of hated on him, because I'm a Russell Westbrook fan too, because I was a Thunder fan. Even though that was the case, Curry gets buckets. Period. So I'm not worried about him, but I just don't think with the way he plays defense, I don't think he can carry them like that. And the West is stacked. All right, all right, so at the top tier, you got LA Clippers, LA Lakers. You got teams like in the middle tier, like Utah. You got Portland. You got Denver. You got, let's think. You got San Antonio. You got potentially Dallas, because I think that, Porzingis and Doncic is a good pairing. So you got all these teams that are going to be competing, so who do you really think? I mean, I'm sure I'm missing some other teams that could be competing. So, and even the lower tier teams like the Suns and the Grizzlies, they can compete on any given night with you. I mean, John Morant, like I said, he could get it, man. He is a baller. All right, and he's a dog. He's gonna come after you. So there's gonna be no easy nights out there. Plus, you got the
Yeah.
Pelicans. I almost forgot. I mean, y'all beat the Pelicans last night, but when Zion comes back, they could be competing for an 8 seed.
I just got faith in the Warriors front office. I believe they'll pull off some move. I don't know what it can be, but I got faith in them. Pull off something. Get at least maybe pull off. Maybe send D'Lo somewhere for some decent bench players to have some more depth. Because that's the problem. Our depth is terrible, and our defense is trash. But if we could compromise that with a little bit more scoring, with some more depth, it'll help. But that's basically our defense sucks, and we got a whole bunch of G League players. You know, so I believe the Warriors front office will do something to, I don't know, help our chances.
Yeah, for sure. I made that prediction, but I think that changes if you get somebody. I'll change my prediction of them make the playoffs if y'all make a move, because that changes everything. But with the current constructed team right now, I don't think they're making the playoffs. That's just me. But if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also click the notification down below so you never miss an upload or a stream. Okay, so now we're going to kind of try to wrap things up, and we're going to wrap it up with some college football, all right? I got to go over and do a little bit of a recap of what's going on, give you a recap of the top 6, where we're at in the season, and also I want to talk about the Oklahoma upset. College football is crazy, and that's why I love it, man. Nobody thought Oklahoma. We'll get to that. We didn't think Oklahoma was going to lose, but we'll get to that later. And also I want to talk about some Jim Harbaugh by the end of this podcast. So when you look at the AP top 6, you got LSU number 1. Who said they were number 1 last year? Can you tell me that, Hasan? Or last week, sorry.
You said that. I'm not bought in on them, but yeah.
We put that out there, right? Yeah, we put that out there. You could go back and look at the video. Go look at my channel videos, and guess who said they should be number 1? They're at number 1 this week. They got a great win against a tough Auburn team. They gave them more of a run for their money than I thought. I thought LSU would show up a little bit more, but I'm not disappointed in how LSU showed up. I thought LSU did what they needed to do to win, and I was more impressed with Auburn's defense and how they showed up. And if Bo Nix was not a terrible quarterback, which he is, I don't want to hear anything from Auburn fans saying that he's a phenomenal quarterback. I think y'all will even say he's terrible. All right. I think that if they had a better quarterback, they could have won that game, because Auburn's defense, they kind of gave the blueprint. We'll see how it plays out the rest of the year, but I think they might have given teams the blueprint on how to slow down LSU's offense, because you can't hope to stop teams like LSU and Alabama, those type of offenses. I said it last year before the championship game with Clemson. You're not going to be able to stop these offenses. You can only hope to limit them in between the 20s. As long as you don't give up touchdowns, you'll be fine. I just got a message from somebody. They about to get blocked for that. You don't message me in the middle of a podcast, right? But Bama at number 2. When you look at Bama, they played Arkansas with, obviously Tua Tagovailoa was hurt. Mac Jones showed you a little bit of his ability. He's no scrub, but I don't think we learned much against Arkansas. Arkansas is not that very good of a team. That's why Bama dropped from number 1 to number 2. And we'll see how Tua Tagovailoa progresses with his injury during the bye week this week and throughout the week before LSU. But in 2 weeks, he needs to be ready, because Mac Jones is not going to beat LSU. And that's just facts. I'm sorry. Y'all don't have enough talent around him, at least not on the defensive side of the ball. Or maybe not talent, but enough experience to beat LSU. LSU is a different breed this year. I'm not making a prediction yet. I'll make a prediction when when the game comes 2 weeks from now. But I'm just telling y'all, Bama fans, They're a different breed this year. They have a different type of offense. I definitely think that'll give you some trouble. You need Tua Tagovailoa because you're going to need to score with them. Ohio State at number 3. Ohio State should be number 2. I'm sorry. They should be ahead of Bama. What I saw against Wisconsin was just more of what I saw. It was more of the same. Dominance. Complete and utter dominance. Chase Young is the best player in college football, bar none. Dude had 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and just completely took over the game. I don't know why Wisconsin thought it was a good idea to not double him. Why wouldn't you double him? He's one of the best players, if not the best player, like I just said. Why wouldn't you double team him? They left him single blocked, and they paid for it. And so that should just tell every team that faces Ohio State from this point, you can't leave him one-on-one, ever. And so Ohio State just proved more to me that they are the number 2 team in the nation. I don't think they have the resume like LSU, so that's why I keep them notched down. But I definitely think they're one of the most dominant teams. And I definitely think, like I said before the season, they're going to make the playoffs. I still think they will. Nothing has showed me anything different. Clemson at number 4. We didn't move, but we lost some of our first place votes. So y'all can continue to doubt on us, on Clemson. Like, for all the new people, I am a Clemson fan. So, like, I definitely think that Clemson is definitely going to they definitely turned the corner this year. This week. I'm sorry. I'm a little bit distracted. But we definitely turned the corner. We're definitely blowing people out. And y'all can continue to doubt on us. We love it. Dabo is able to play that underdog card better than anyone. So when you put any doubt out on the internet about him, he's just able to use it as bulletin board material. So just please keep on doubting on Clemson. They're going to continue to win. Just telling you. I'm a spoil the story for y'all. They're making the playoffs, and they're going to win a playoff game. Just saying. You can say that. You can keep on making that noise. We're winning a playoff game. I'm spoiling the story. I'm sorry. I have to spoil the movie for y'all. That's what's going to happen. And y'all can come back to this video if it doesn't happen, and y'all can roast me for it. I don't care. I'm putting it out there. Penn State at number 5. They definitely showed me more. I got some comments from a Penn State fan, actually, on the last AP Top 6 recap, and she was saying how, I was, not giving Penn State enough credit for the schedule that they played, and saying that I needed to see more. They definitely showed me some more. Not enough. To me, they got to beat Ohio State before I start to really buy into them as far as a playoff team. But they showed me more. They definitely showed me more against Michigan State. Michigan State has been the bane of their existence, basically, since 2016 when they really started to compete. And so I definitely think that the fact that they were able to go and get a win and do it in a pretty dominant fashion is definitely, it opened my eyes a little bit. Penn State is a little bit better than I kind of put on in that video. They're definitely one of the best teams in the country, and they're going to have an opportunity to show that against Minnesota and against Ohio State going into the latter part of the year. And then Florida at 6. Florida at 6 is kind of just a placeholder at this point. I definitely think that we're going to find out a lot about them this week against Georgia. It's a rivalry game against a big-time Georgia opponent. Don't let that South Carolina loss fool you. They're still a great team. Georgia is. And so I will make a prediction probably on Friday about it. But I think that Florida is definitely a talented team, but I'm not sure they're the number 6 team. But you couldn't really put anybody else up there. Maybe Oregon, but they were a spot behind them. But I'm fine with Florida being there. But I don't think that'll last long. I don't think that they have a chance to make the playoffs, at least with the way that they're playing right now. I mean, they're playing well, but I don't think they're playing well enough to beat the top-tier SEC teams. I think that LSU game showed you that. I don't think they can go in and beat an Alabama if they were to make the SEC championship game. And the people that fell out of the top 6, Oklahoma. Boy, y'all are done. Let me just tell y'all, Oklahoma fans, y'all are done. There's zero chance y'all make the playoffs now. Unless somebody gets 2 losses, you're done. All right, you can't lose to Kansas State. You cannot lose to teams that are inferior like that. Ohio State is a perfect example of this for the past 2 years. They were good enough to make the playoffs in 2017 and 2018, but they lost to Purdue and it got held against them. The committee's going to do the same thing to you. All right? I don't care if it was only a 1-score game. That is completely misleading. If you watch that game, it took some late game heroics from Jalen Hurts to bring y'all back in that game. Y'all were down 48-23. Y'all were getting absolutely dominated. And so I don't want to hear nothing about that. Y'all are done because you have nobody else on your schedule to boost your schedule. The Texas win. Texas is a 3-loss team now. That's not looking too bright. They lost to TCU. They're not looking too good. You also look at the fact that y'all play Baylor. Baylor's an undefeated team, but I don't think people are giving them the credit that will allow y'all to boost your schedule up. You had a terrible out-of-conference schedule. And so I just think that, hey, you're playing to play in the Cotton Bowl. And that's fine. That's still an amazing season. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, having a 1-loss team, there's nothing wrong with making the Cotton Bowl. That's a New Year's Six bowl. But you're not making it to the playoffs. You're not, because there's nobody that you could beat that will boost your schedule. If it comes down to if LSU loses a close game against Alabama, and even if it isn't that close, if it's like a 10 or a 14-point game, I'm picking, and LSU doesn't lose the rest of the year, even if they don't win the conference championship, I'm still putting LSU in over y'all. Oregon lost a very close game, and they were leading the entire time against Auburn, and they lost in the opener. And if they go undefeated and go 12-1 and win their conference championship, they're in above you. Right? Because they reward people who play tough teams in the beginning of the year. And Auburn was a tough team to play at the beginning of the year. So they got that over you. Clemson is in over y'all because I don't think they're going to go, and lose a game. So they'll be undefeated. Bama, even if they lose against LSU, the same situation that I said for LSU is relevant for Bama. I think Bama will get in if they lose a close game to LSU. It doesn't matter if they don't win their conference championship. They're in over y'all. And also, I think, Ohio State, I don't see them losing. And even if they do, they've looked more dominant than Oklahoma has. I mean, y'all's defense put y'all back this past game. I don't know how else to put it. I thought y'all were improved. Y'all can go watch the video from last week. I said Oklahoma's defense. Did I not say they got a defense? Did I not say that they had an improved defense? And I was very impressed by them. Did I not say that?
True.
Yeah.
True, that is true.
And then what do they do the next week? I might have jinxed y'all because the next week, 48 points. And they looked like the same old Oklahoma defense from last year. So y'all are done. Sorry to tell you that, but it is what it is. All right? That's why you got to play a harder schedule in the out-of-conference. And if you don't play a hard schedule, you got to go undefeated. And you got to look impressive doing it. Because that's what Clemson has to do. If you're going to have that standard for Clemson, you have to have that same energy for Oklahoma. Have to have that same energy. And so, if you like this video, hit the like button down below. Also, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also, hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a stream. All right, and to finish off the stream, or the podcast, whatever you want to call it, I want to talk about how Jim Harbaugh should not, I repeat, not be fired. I know that, Michigan fans, believe it or not, are trying to get rid of him, or they've been trying to get rid of him. And, how should he be fired?
What has he done?
He hasn't, okay. So he hasn't really done much, but he just beat a Notre Dame team 45-14, and that was a pretty good Notre Dame team. They run for over 300 yards, and they dominate them. I think that's a big deal because they were an underdog, which was something that he hadn't done up to this point. And also, you have to ask the question, who out there is better for this job? Who can they go out and get that's better than Jim Harbaugh? I'm waiting. Because I don't think that I don't see anybody. There's not much. You can't do much better than Jim Harbaugh. So you have to keep him. Because if you don't keep him and you just end up stuck with the worst coach, and then you're at square one. I mean, at least Jim Harbaugh will win you 8+ games every single year. He'll do that. Now, you might not compete for a championship, but that's okay. Michigan fans act like they've been competing for championships their entire school career. They haven't. The history of Michigan is they've won one championship in the past, I think, 20 or 30 years. They haven't won that many championships. They act like they're this powerhouse that wins championships every single season. That's not what Michigan is. Michigan is a solid team that in their best years they can win 10 to 11 games and compete. That's what they can do. That's their limit. That's their peak. All right. That's what they can do. They won one championship. And so I think that Jim Harbaugh can get you to those 11 wins. And maybe one year you will make the playoffs. But you can't go firing your head coach when you're in a decent situation now. All right. You just can't.
Bro, ever since, they've won one bowl game since he's been the head coach.
Okay.
And that was the Citrus Bowl against Florida in 2016. And they're probably not going to win a bowl game this year. If they don't win a bowl game this year, he has to go.
I don't agree. I think they will. Because I think Michigan is starting to peak now. They had the rough loss against Wisconsin. That was terrible. Gotta admit it. But then they're a dropped pass away from going to overtime and maybe potentially beating Penn State on the road, which is in whiteout conditions, which is a hard place to play. All right, so that you have to give them credit for that. And then they went out the next week after playing an emotional game against Penn State. They go out in the rain, in a driving rainstorm, and they go out and just punch Notre Dame in the mouth. You got to give them credit for that. And I'm not obsessed with Harbaugh, but I just don't think you can get much better than that.
Nah, he needs the championship. Not a championship. A bowl game. He needs to win. If they don't win a bowl game this year, he's going to get fired. Whether you like it or not, he's going to get fired.
All right, I mean that's fair. All right, so we'll put it out there right now. If he doesn't win a bowl game, he's out. All right, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. I'm just
you
saying.
Agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. But I'm just saying I think they will. And I just think that Jim Harbaugh is as good as Michigan's going to get, at least as of right now. I just don't see anybody that you can definitely say is out on the market to come into Michigan and do the job that Jim Harbaugh's team has, or that Jim Harbaugh has done. You have to remember what became. I know you did not just say Willie Taggart. I ought to slap you for saying something like that. Nah, but you look at the coaches before Jim Harbaugh. Brady Hoke could barely win 6 games. Michigan fans don't know how they don't appreciate how good Jim Harbaugh has actually been. I mean, he hasn't been good in the big games. I get it, but he's won 8+ games every single year, and so that's better than Brady Hoke could have ever done. So you do have to give him credit for that. And so I definitely think that Jim Harbaugh made a statement this week. And I definitely think that Michigan, I think, is a team that's on the map again. And they kind of fell off the radar against Wisconsin. But I definitely think that they definitely have made a resurgence. And I'd say watch out. They're a dangerous team. Just watch out for Michigan. I mean, I could be wrong saying that, but I'm just saying watch out. I would... As a Clemson fan, I'd want to play him, but if I were a lower level team, or maybe like a mid-tier team, I'm saying watch out. All right, they could pull off an upset. I'm not gonna say that they're gonna beat Ohio State, but I wouldn't be surprised if they at home were able to give Ohio State a run for their money. All right, so if you like this content, hit the like button below. Also, click the subscribe button if you're new. And also hit the notification bell so that you never miss an upload or a stream. All right. We finished podcast number 2.
Hold on. Quick. Do you want to just give a quick overview of the trade deadline? Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell are on the trade block, and AJ Green.
I might not post it to my channel. I won't post it as a separate clip, but I mean, that's crazy. I mean, just to give a quick point about it for right now, just for the end of the stream, for the people who do watch the full stream, that's pretty crazy. I mean, Jamal Adams. Why would you trade Jamal Adams? He's one of the best
I
safeties.
feel like they're ready to just.
They're already ready to pull the plug. They just started. They just got these players. I mean, they just got these players. I don't get that.
I'm happy for those players though, because their talent.
Oh yeah, from the standpoint of the players, they need to get up out of there. So I definitely agree with that. But yeah, so that's crazy. But yeah, podcast number 2 down in the books. So I definitely enjoyed it. I don't know about you. I definitely enjoyed it. So
I enjoyed it.
All right, so just to close out, again, hit the like button. If you're watching the full stream, hit the like button. Also, click the subscribe button if you're new, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or stream. I will be uploading pretty often and streaming, also some Modern Warfare, so definitely check into one of those. And so, I guess we're signing off. We are out, and have a great day.
Peace.